What is up, folks? It is Dan Rojas with the Takeover Podcast. Every week, bringing you fire content, nothing but the best unbranded content when it comes to real estate, entrepreneur, and business money. And today, speaking of business money, I've got my good friend, Diante Lawrence with me. Diante, what's up? Say hi to the people.
Dan, what's happening? What's going on, beautiful people? So happy we finally got to get on here with you. I'm excited to talk. We chat so much off air. I'm glad we're able to come on the platform and break things down.
I know, right? So let's talk about kind of what's been going on. And so some of you, I'm going to give you guys a little background on Diante and how we know each other. So Diante is that man that when I get to the office early in the morning is already there making phone calls and knocking out his week. And then when I've already left, he's still there knocking out a lot of work. And if you don't see him in the office, it's because he's knocking out work all over town. And so much so, he's actually got a little segment show that he does called Around the Town with D, which is fantastic, which we'll talk about it. But this man, ever since I've known him, is one of the best hearts I've ever seen on the planet. You cannot be in a bad mood around Diante. even this morning, I had a little sourness to me this morning, and one of the first people I saw was Diante, and I was just like, all right, that's gone. Let's knock that out. And I love it because one of the reasons why I have you on the show too is because I have been slacking when it comes to this show, and we're all over the place. We're on iHeartRadio, we're on Google Podcasts, and I knew that you would hold me accountable to it. And sure enough, this morning, first thing you said to me was what? It was hey,
let's go. What time? 2 o'clock?
Yeah. 2 o'clock, just making sure we're on. Where are you going to be at? And I was like, all right, we really are doing this. So,
and let me preface that, people. He does not mean slacking like he hasn't been doing anything. The reason Dan hasn't been doing this show because the people that are viewing have really supported his business. So he's been like super busy. So don't get it confused. All right.
Yep.
I want to make that clear.
Well, thank you for that, and I appreciate that. Yeah, so the market is hot. So one of the things that you're really good at, my friend, is giving people market updates. So let's use this platform and go ahead and kind of break it down for us. What are you seeing? Because I want you to tell us, because you do every market. I know you're just like me. You're like, it doesn't matter whether you're buying a $150,000 property or $1 million property. You're still my client through and through, and I'm going to treat you that way. So tell us what you're seeing across the spectrum right now in Central Florida when it comes to real estate.
Right. It's very, very interesting. And that's a great question as well. Literally, I was finishing up my weekly video right now, and median prices in Orlando right now, as of last week, were $300,000, up 7%.
Wow.
Right. That's just numbers wise. Right. I can speak in specifically with my business. I just went under contract with one of my people yesterday. But prior to that, we had offers on 3 homes, multiple offers on those homes, and got outbidded on those homes. So that kind of gives people an idea of what is going on in our market. It's not hearsay. It's not, gassing things up. This is actual numbers I just provided you. You can go on Aura Market Pulse. That gives us some phenomenal information. They keep track of all these things to actually see what these numbers are. And once again, and I know, Dan, you can speak to this with your clients and your buyers, going out there and actually trying to find a home and putting offers on it. It's so much competition, man. So like you're saying, at least in our general bubbles, things are moving very, very fast.
I'm gonna tell you, man, I had some real heartbreak these last 2 weeks, and I think that's also kind of why I've been off a little bit too. Is that I'll tell this story real quick to kind of exactly harp on what you're saying right now. Is that I went out with a client. We found this beautiful home, exactly where they wanted, the lifestyle that they wanted. And it had been on the market actually for about, I want to say 18 days. So that's pretty typical, right?
Yeah.
And so we put in a full price offer, literally closed 35 days.
Yep.
And of course the agent comes back to me and says, what we don't like to hear, which is, hey, I've got another offer on the table.
Yep.
And I was like, I mean, what kind of offer do you have that's going to beat what we've offered? Because what we've offered is actually, we're not discounting anything. Yeah. And it was a cash offer, believe it or not, in the 400s.
I believe it. Yep.
In the 400s.
Yep.
Closing in 2 weeks. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, this is crazy. I was like, that's nuts. And so we lost that one. That one wasn't like a super heartbreak. What happened was the next thing that happened. So the very next day, we found another house, more beautiful than this one, 4 years old, top of the line upgrades on the water.
Yeah, come on. Yep.
We lost that and it was heart-wrenching. I mean, like, I don't think I've ever felt a pain more for my client in my life than that moment in time. Because what happened was they had been actually sitting on an offer for 2 weeks, right?
Dang.
They had an offer. They were asking 405. We had offered 395, not knowing they had an offer on there. So we were just trying to save the consumer a few bucks. And what we accidentally did was we instigated the sellers to just go ahead and accept the offer that they've been sitting on.
God, dang.
Because they had offered 400, we had offered 395, and they said, "Stop messing around. We're just going to go ahead and do this." And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" And the worst part was, I said, "Give me a second. I'll go get you a better offer." But the sellers had already signed, and that was it. And so you're right, man. Even the ones that have been on the market for a little while, like, you got to treat everything like as if it's fresh on the market, and you got to put your best foot forward. I'm literally telling my clients something that I learned from Jenny Weimer this past week, and she said something, and I'll never forget it to this day. And she said, what I'm telling my buyers, and now I'm saying this to everyone, is how much would you actually pay for this property if you lost it tomorrow?
Oh, can I take that? I'm gonna take that.
I took it from Jenny. I was like, Jenny, I love you for telling me that, because my life is now altered. What would you pay for this property if you lost it tomorrow?
Yeah, I love that.
And that's exactly what you're saying right now. I mean, the market right now couldn't be hotter, and it's insane, because a lot of people are like, they're still looking for discounts. Don't get me wrong. And you are an expert in this too, and I know this. You are an expert at saving people money. But the thing is, like, is it worth saving the money, or is it worth losing the home nowadays?
Exactly.
And that's the biggest thing. Do you want to lose the dream home that you're looking at, or do you want to actually get it for what it's worth? Because we both know it's worth that much. However, you're just trying to get a discount on it. So So tell us a few more tips that maybe the consumers aren't seeing, that maybe they should be hearing from us versus their agents, right? Because there's a lot of people that, let's face it, aren't using the pros that we are, right? But no, even the people that are working with other agents, tell the consumers realistically what it is. Because I had somebody call me the other day, and I helped that agent out, not even knowing who that agent was. But I told the client what's up. So tell the consumer something that maybe they should be looking at or paying attention to when they are shopping in this kind of market right now.
Well, I think you already kind of addressed it. At least what I've been utilizing and is also just, put yourself in the seller's shoes, right? And that's what I've been kind of speaking even more so to my people, right? Because once again, I just went through putting offers on 3 different properties, and we had to have that come to Jesus meeting. And I was like, I'm not going to say his name, but I was like, hey, we'll call him Bob. I was like, hey, Bob. The next home we see, if the words "I love it" come out of your mouth, you need to be willing to go balls to the wall for that home. At this time, seller concessions that we usually do is not the time for that. Asking for these different things, it's not time for that. A clean contract, and sometimes you're going to have to offer more if you love this home. So really, just being transparent with my buyer has been the best. Not always going into it, hey, I'm gonna save you money, closing costs, we're gonna get it behind market value. I've actually turned it around and letting them know, like, hey, this is what we are seeing. This isn't necessarily the time for me to negotiate, because you may lose the home. And that's what's really, I encourage people to do, because it's honest. It's the fact. Like, you've experienced, I'm experiencing, other agents are experiencing. Now's not the time to really play around, And
I'll add to that, because Javier Paredes and Josue Soto are watching right now, and they made 2 valid points on this. Javier said the Orlando market is still hot, and then Josue actually said why the market is hot, right? So we just saw a huge shift and change in the market across the country with coronavirus and the stock market crashing, and it's funny because over here in Orlando we didn't really feel it much. In reality, I did have some clients that got furloughed, so it kind of delayed their process, but we're not slowing down by any means. If anything, those markets across the country that were like overpriced and super hot, like we're talking California, New York, New Jersey, all those people are liquidating their properties in those areas, and they are moving here officially. Forbes said, Texas, get out of the way. Everyone's moving straight to Florida. And there's a few factors why. I feel like Floridians don't get it, right? Because they sit here and we live it every day. So we're kind of spoiled with no state taxes and decent priced homes, even though they're on the rise. Because even remember last year, the average home price was what? $254, $264 last year. And you just said it's $300 is the average.
As of last week, median price. Yep.
So I feel like people that are in the state don't get it. People outside the state are like, I got a lot of relocations right now. They're like, wow, that's super affordable.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I had a guy land on my KV Core page, right, from one of the Make It Rain leads, and he saw a property and said, hey, is there another one just like this in that same neighborhood? And I said, well, not in this one, but what are you looking for? And so we did the small buyer's consult over Facebook Messenger. And sure enough, the guy's buying 2 homes because it's so affordable for where he's coming.
Exactly.
Because he's buying one for him and his wife, and they're buying some for their family, and they want to be down the street from each other.
I love it.
And that's the crazy part. Floridians, you got to wake up. For those of you that want to move up and upgrade or downgrade and you want to sell right now, I'm telling you, you could not ask for a better time. This past week, I put a property up. We listed it at X, and we got 13 offers in 48 hours of being on the market with the strategy that you use. I know you use the go live open house method. And 13 offers, 60 groups walked through the home. 13 offers, and we got $10,000 over asking, close in less than 30 days. So
it's not a game.
I'm telling you, people just don't get it, man. But I tell you, man, you were spot on, Javier spot on, and Josue spot on. So I'm glad that people are kind of coming to a come to Jesus moment, like you said,
right?
Because we got to be honest with them. You know, our job is to advise people. And I've had to advise a lot of people like, hey, we wait too much longer, we're going to lose this. Like right now, a client's been sitting on an offer for me, waiting on signatures 2-3 days now. And literally the listing agent texted me this morning, today's a great day to submit that offer. And I was like, every day is great to submit that offer. But I can't move as fast as them. And so, you know, the last thing I was like, you know, if we lose it, we lose it. And my client was like, nope, I'll sign right now. So I got to tell you folks. Oh yeah, for sure. So let's talk about some of the things that separate you as an agent, because your hard work and dedication and your hustle is unparalleled for sure. I'm a hard worker, man, but you put me to shame a lot of days. Let's be honest here. And so let's kind of talk about what goes into your week when it comes to preparation, because I know that you're a man of organization. So tell us a little bit about how you organize your week, how you schedule your week. What are you doing to be more successful than the other agents?
Right. And I just gotta, first of all, you know, give credit where credit's due from people like you, the Gills, the Bobbies. I'm also on the Alpha Equity team this year, Mac, a boss. I pride myself on taking things from everybody, you know, and applying them to me. So what I've found out that's worked, you know, very well for me. And once again, I don't have a wife and kids and things like that. So my schedule can be different than, you know, everybody else. But what I've been able to do that has, you know, helped me to grow in this industry, from 9 to 12, I block that off unless it's an extenuating circumstance that has to do with a deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? That I'm literally, hey, I need to go to this house and get this under contract. If it's nothing like that, 9 to 12, I'm making my calls. Okay. Right? I'm getting those in. I minimum like to do about 90 calls from 9 to 12, right? I bang that out. So from 12 to about 4 o'clock is when I'm getting into, you know, things like this, Dan, or, you know, some admin work or, you know, marketing and things of that nature. That's what fills in, connecting with other business partners and things like that. And then from 4 to about 6:30, 7:30, if I don't have any showings or anything like that, I'm back on the phone making calls. So it's literally that simple. And before quarantine, my Saturdays were dedicated to open houses. So now that things are opening back up, that's what we'll implement. So it's literally, as Dan said, I operate best when I set my own, you know, schedule, so I know what to hit. And that's what just has been working for me so far.
And I tell you, man, your organization and your schedule is like to the T. I mean, I know where you'll be at what time. I really, truly do. And it's admirable to see, because that is what defines agents. You know, I've got clients every now and then that are like, they kind of overgo the boundaries when it comes to it. You know, I had a client recently that was just like, hey, I need you available the next 2 days. And I'm like, okay, well, we have to schedule this, because I can't just block out 48 hours, right? Because most of our clients, because of the dedication that agents such as yourself and myself have, they don't realize that we're working with potentially up to 24 to 30 other people at the same time. I had it not too long ago. I had a client during the closing. At closing, they were like, oh, we have all the time in the world, because I had blocked it out already, because we had a double closing. We sold their home. We bought another home, and they were like, oh, are you sure you have enough time? And I was like, I've blocked it.
Yeah, it's yours.
And then the husband looks at me and he says to me, Alex, he says, how many clients, by the way, we've always been curious, because like your dedication and the way you respond and the timeliness, how many clients are you working with? And I was like, well, let's see. And all I did was I just opened up my OpCity platform. I didn't even open up KV Core. And I literally took it and I scrolled. And he was like,
I love it.
How many is that? And I was like, let me count. And I counted it. It was like 17. And literally he was like, what do you mean 17? Like 17 buyers. And I literally have it here. And I just went like this. And literally, and it's one page, but it's 17 people. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, that's how it should be. So if you guys have agents and for some reason you don't feel like you're getting the dedication from them, find out what their schedule really looks like, because you don't know. It could be that they're working with 20 other clients. If they're not working with 20 other clients, then hit up D right here, because
but I think something that's important that you're also leaving out, Dan. Dan, he sets the expectation with the buyer, right? And he does a good job of, once again, not only he's educating you through the process, but he's letting you know, hey, you see the service that I'm giving you? I do have other people that I take care of. That's not to say I'm taking away from what I'm offering you. I still provide the same service. So, if I don't answer your text message in 30 minutes or an hour, that's most likely because I'm taking care of another client. But please believe, as soon as I'm able to, I'm picking up the phone, I'm getting it on with you. But it's important for, agents and other people who are buyers or sellers to understand, that. And they only understand that if you set the expectation up front. And that's something I've taken, from you and other agents who have told me that, because it works wonders. You won't have those issues where clients think you're ignoring them. They're like, oh, I guarantee you 90% of Dan's buyers or sellers that are saying, dang, I can't get in contact with them. In the back of their mind, oh, he's probably, working another deal right now. He's going to give me a call back. It's not going to be like my agent never picks up my phone or no. They know, because he set that expectation. So I think that's important for the agents watching to understand that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of agents are scared to do that, is what it is. I don't think it's that they don't know. I think they think that by setting that boundary early, they're like, well, what if the client doesn't like that? Well, it depends on how you go about it. So one of the things I always tell people, right, is my background's marketing and social media, right? So whenever anybody says like, oh, can you analyze my page, my profile, my social media presence? The first thing that I do every single time, I go to their Facebook page where they have the hours of operation. That's the first thing I do, right? Because although you and I set the boundaries and we set the tone of what our schedule is going to be, you still can't. You're not going to gain more clients by limiting that off the bat, right? So a lot of agents, they tend to put like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I'm like, do you not do showings on the weekend? And they're like, yeah, of course. That's what I do. That's why it's blocked off. And I was like, well, by putting it this way, what you're doing is you're telling clients in advance and consumers in advance that you do not work after 5 p.m. and you do not work weekends. So put it as always open. And they're like, well, then they're going to call me at midnight. Let them call you at midnight. If you're available, you'll pick up. Exactly. And I've done it before. I have a client that loves to call me at 11:50 sometimes p.m. And the wife knows, and she's just like, I'm going to go sleep in the other room because we're going to be on a call for an hour. But the thing is, that's me. That's not everybody too. And everybody has a different thing. But if you set the expectation early, what you're doing is you're giving yourself the opportunity to be available and working all the time, because you do work after 5. You do work weekends as a solid agent. But at the same token, you have to have the conversation off the bat, and you really do. A lot of agents don't do that because they're terrified of deterring a client. But what they don't realize is that most clients actually want to know that. They want to know how many people you're working with, the dedication and the time that you've got available. So let them know that off the front for sure. I agree with that. And then, it's so funny because the comments are just piling in, and we got Seku Pile, and he's actually watching right now. So I'm really happy because this man has some huge following. This man does something that's miraculous. And I think you've seen him before too. This man does what's called 2K Wednesdays. And on Wednesdays, this man makes 2,000 contacts every Wednesday.
Ooh, shout out to you.
And he does it live. And he's an agent. And I'm telling you, man, this guy straight up calls, and he does it live. Like, he does it just the way you and I are doing it right now. And he's got the dialer going, and he's got the music pumping in the background. He's even responding to people like you and I when we hop on. And this man does 2K Wednesdays. All he does is straight calls. And just like you were saying, 9 to 12. And his time frame is a little bit different, but at the same token, that's the point. People are not going to know that you're an agent unless you are calling.
Yeah. Yep.
Ricky Carruth has said it best. I didn't get here because I didn't make calls. I got here and they're calling me because I made the calls first. Ricky Carruth said it a long time ago. Yep. And for those who don't know Ricky Carruth, he was one of the number one Remax agents across the country, doing about $100 million a year in volume by himself.
That speaks for it. That's it right there.
Yep. It's the proof is in the pudding. I used to hate calls, but let's talk about what else separates you from other agents, because obviously your organization is impeccable, your schedule is impeccable. What extra additives, add value are you giving to consumers across your database and your niche that kind of adds that extra Diante Lawrence like stamp on it?
Well, what I really, really value companies outside of real estate, and I kind of look to their leaders. And I'm prefacing this statement before I give you the answer, just so you know.
I know where you're going. Keep going. Love it.
So I love looking at business leaders in completely different industries, whether it's small business or your Fortune 500 companies, and kind of seeing what they're doing with their client experience, right? So that's what I've kind of leveraged for myself, because personally, I enjoy, like, you go to a restaurant and you get a server who is just above and beyond, and he just makes you give that giddy feeling, like, take my money. Here's a $50 tip because you were absolutely amazing. And that is something that I continually work on for my business. So 2 books, guys, 2 books that have really helped me leverage this. Raving Fans and Never Lose a Customer Again. So I implement those type of things into my business to create a customer experience that they will not get anywhere else. Because at the end of the day, guys, and this is going to sound weird, right? Real estate is relatively easy, right? I send you a contract for you to sign. Just make sure I'm filling it out properly. I send it to my title company or my lender, and you pretty much let it close in 30 to 45 days, right? Where we earn our money is in between, where we're navigating things that you guys never knew what happened, right? And I just like to create an experience to where, I tell my clients, not my clients, my people. I love calling my people.
Correct. Yeah, they're not clients. I say that mistake too.
Yep. But I always like to tell them, hey, let me stress about the house, and you guys just wait to that closing. So throughout the process, I just provide them a peace of mind and implement, different experiences for them to say, wow, Diante is absolutely amazing. So at closing, for instance, I buy my clients a generator. Yes, it's an expensive product, right? It's about $500, $400, right? But I'm thinking the long game. Right now, I am dialing and calling, and yes, I get referrals, and I'm so blessed for that. But my end goal is, in the next 2-3 years, I want my 50 deals that I'm getting a year to come straight from my clients. And I've, developed in my mind how I do that is my client experience. So giving them things like generator at closing. I have a house anniversary coming up this Friday. So, I'm giving her some gifts that are particularly curtailed to her because, we developed a relationship. It's not something generic. Throwing housewarming parties for my people. I stay in contact with my people minimum twice a month, just checking up on them, being at top of mind. Partnering with vendors, creating that experience that, a lot of people have never been through this real estate thing. So they're going through real estate and they're going to be telling their friends, this was easy. I want to do this all the time. Diante gave me this. He knows these people. He gave me a generator. I had no idea. He threw a housewarming party. And then people are like, who is this Diante guy? You know what I mean? That's what I've really, developed within myself. And it's an ongoing thing, to continue to improve my experience with my clients. Right now, I'm working on kind of a tier referral give back to, you know, my clients who send me a referral. I was giving away vacations, but we can't really travel no more.
I did the same thing. I was giving away vacations all across the planet. And my wife, because I obviously got to run the expenses by the wife. And she was like, well, that was short-lived.
But I believe things like that because, you know, I truly value every time I get that text, Dan, and this is no exaggeration. It's just a infusion of love. Like, you actually thought about me to send me a referral. The least I can do is send you to Aruba, or the least I could do is put you on a cruise, or the least I could do is give you a gift card. So that's what I, you know, really work on to develop for my in particular business. Focus on that client experience. So in the future, you know, 2-3 years from now, I'm not waking up. I'm chilling. You know, I got 5 text messages because, you know, my homeboys sent me 3 people. You know, my client from 2 years ago sent me 2 people, and we ready to roll. So, you know,
I'll tell you
answer, but that's, you know.
No, but that's so true because honestly, I've seen that generator pop up on multiple people's timelines when it gets dropped off at their front step, man. And in Florida, a lot of you folks that are listening all across the country and all across the world, you guys don't know how valuable a generator really is. Like Diante put a price tag on that. There is no price tag on a generator when you lose power here in Florida because especially right now, today it's 95 degrees. And I'll tell you, there was a tornado that just ripped through our community, right? Literally 7 blocks from my house. We didn't know about it until about 2 minutes beforehand, although there was a tornado warning, but we've had tornado warnings my entire life growing up here in Florida, and we've never really taken them seriously. And I'm telling you, we found out about 30 seconds before this thing was ripping through down the street, literally like it was just taking a cruise straight down Lake Conway up to downtown. And there are still people right now without power, and there are people right now without roofs. And that generator, I'm telling you, Diante, you're not just putting a smile on their face with a present. You're giving them peace of mind, knowing that, hey, you know what? At least I can take care of my fridge, or at least I can take care of a few fans and a few lights around the house with that generator. And you're right, having that experience is priceless as well. You can't put a dollar sign on it because that's what will not just generate referrals, but have them come back to you. I just recently had my very first clients ever come back to me and say, Dan, what can we get for our house? Because we need to relocate for a job opportunity. I was like, oh, you guys are about to cash out. I love it. So I gave them a number and they were like, really? Because they didn't buy the home that long ago. And I was like, I was like, you guys gained some major equity in this home. And they were stoked. And honestly, we got that exact mark. And another agent had actually told them that we wouldn't hit that mark. And I was like, challenge accepted.
You don't know who I am.
I was like, watch this go live open house theory and how we do this methodology when it comes down to it. Man, we bottlenecked all these people in it, and they're more than thankful. I'm more than thankful more than anything because that experience, it was a blessing for them and a blessing for us. And I know that same thing rings true with you and your clients. And you know, talking about calls and following up and referrals, you know, Sekou, he keeps dropping more nuggets in this comment thread, and I love it. He said, if the people are calling you first, the idea will always be that agent never communicates with me. You always got to be the first one to do it. I'm telling you, man, this guy's got so many great nuggets today. But I tell you, I know that you focus on that too. And then, you know, kind of on the lead out with this, let's talk about what's going on and what's happening with coronavirus. I know you talked about numbers earlier, but let's talk about kind of like what people are putting in place, what policies, what things you're doing in place, what you're seeing, what sellers care about, what they don't care about. What is it that you're seeing with the coronavirus talk right now? What's going on?
It's twofold. So you remember how you were speaking in regards to some of your clients in New York, right? So some people that I'm working with are definitely afraid of going out. So, you know, I have my own personal camera that I'll go out and shoot virtual tours for them to take care of that. They're ready, gung-ho, don't care about a virus. I got the gloves and everything like that. And we go out and handle it that way. So that's what I am. Once again, in my own bubble, I know things are different from other agents and other people, but through my personal experience since the virus, it's literally been that. The people are still looking to buy. It's just the matter has been how we get it done is different, right?
Yep.
So.
And I agree. You know, a lot of people, such as yourself and myself, we're taking a lot of precautions. So the consumers out there that are really concerned about, and everybody should kind of be concerned about it.
Right.
It's not like it's a light matter. I'm not trying to downplay it by any means, but there's easy precautions that people such as yourself and myself are taking care of, such as, you know, hand sanitizers right at the entry, specific instructions like do not touch anything, like do not open the fridge. You know, things such as, you know, if you have certain symptoms, do not come in. The same things that your bank is doing, right? You can't walk up to the bank right now and just walk in. You got to have an appointment. And even then they have a sign in the front that says like, if these symptoms are, if you have these symptoms right now, do not come in. So for those of you that are still concerned about that, which it is still something to be concerned about, because that contagion rate, just because, you know, what's been going on all across the country the last 2 months, this has not stopped. The contagion rate for this is higher than anything we've ever seen, but it can be preventable versus through virtual tours, the way that you're doing them. And I think that's fantastic. We do the same thing. We use Room, which is a fantastic product. I love it, man. I got to give my boy Eric a shout out on that. Eric was a Facebook mogul and a guru, and he left Facebook to create what's called Room, which is a very affordable 3D touring service for agents. If anybody's curious on that, I'll put the link in the comments below. But
that's what I love about Dan. He gives me all the little tech update, like this StreamYard from Dan. All my tech stuff comes from Dan.
I actually told you to use StreamYard before I was using StreamYard, because I was using another platform. And I was like, hey, I'm using this one. However, what I recommend is something else. And I switched over because this platform is way better than the other one that I was using. I can't even remember the name of the other one. But no, StreamYard's fantastic. But virtual technology, and for those of you agents that can't kind of like grasp what it is it's a virtual 3D tour where you just go in with a tripod and you kind of do your setup in different rooms and different walkways, and you can kind of pin it together, and it comes out like a 3D dollhouse kind of mapping. Now, for those of you that might not be able to afford it, newer agents, I know I got Chris Beverly watching right now, and he just got his license in February, and he's already one deal in, so I'm really proud of him.
Oh, Chris, not
I know, right? So for those agents, what I would recommend is there's a lot of tools nowadays that you guys could use for free to virtual tour a property for a client. WhatsApp is one of those tools. It's an app, and I actually knew about it from my family in Colombia, because that's how we communicate for free without paying the overseas per minute, whatever they charge you. These cell phone companies that want to rake us over the coals. But WhatsApp is free, and you can actually video tour with that. You can video chat, and then you just show them the property. That's a great way to do it. What I also add on is I just do the hand stabilization feature on my phone, because it shoots in 4K anyways. Almost everybody's phone does. And I walk the property and I touch stuff. Like I knock on the countertops. I'm like, this is stone granite. And I open up the appliances. I'm like, these are stainless steel, and your freezer's down here. Like you gotta put yourself in the shoes. I know that you had said it earlier that like a lot of buyers need to put themselves in the shoes of the sellers. Sometimes agents, we got to put ourselves in the shoes of the buyers. Would you buy this? I have a lot of clients recently, Hispanic clients, that are really, our culture is engraved in loyalty and trust. So they literally have asked, they always ask the same question: is this an investment, or is this something you would buy? And I'm like, ooh,
that's good. That's good,
put me on the spot right there. And so for some of them, I have to tell them, honestly, personally, I wouldn't, but that's because you're looking for different criteria than what I'm looking for. But some of them are like investment properties. So we're buying an investment property with a client right now from Colombia. And he said to me, Daniel, is this one you would make? I said, you know what? This is actually one I would make. The one that we saw last week is not the one I would make because of X, Y, and Z. So I tell you, we're I think we're hitting a lot of points, man. I feel like we're on fire too. What else do we have? Because I feel like we can still go for a little while. But I'm telling you, the world is changing, and a lot of things are changing, and these virtual tours are something that you have to get used to. The world will never go back to being the same again, no matter what. And there's a lot of people out there that need our help, regardless of which way the market turns. And the stock market went up this week tenfold, and then it went back down 10-20%. But it's real estate is one of those things that is a constant, right? It only had a correction once in 2007 to 2009. And even if you think about it, all those people that were screaming like market crash, I don't hear them anymore. I don't.
And then market crash, that term is the beautiful thing about real estate is so relative. Because it crashed, we'll use 0809 for a great example. It crashed for some people, but millionaires became multimillionaires off of that. Thousandaires, if you want to use that, became millionaires off of that. So it's all relative. It's all perspective. As long as you are comfortable with being uncomfortable, I believe, this is my belief, you will be fine in real estate. Just don't push back in regards to how you're going to have to adapt. If you're pushing against virtual right now, I won't say that you won't make it, but you're just making things harder. You're swimming upstream right now, you know? So that's my thought.
No, but it's true. It's true. I mean, it's like upgrading your software from Windows 98 to whatever we're running on today, right? And a lot of people need to catch on to that. And I think that a lot of brokerages across the board, you know, obviously I don't like to talk bad about anybody, and that's why we keep this unbranded. We don't talk about it. Diante and I are part of the same brokerage. We're both owners of this brokerage, and we're very proud owners of this brokerage. I will tell you that right now. We love this company through and through, and so much so that we don't even have to put the name out there. We don't. You guys can look us up and see where we're at. But a lot of brokerages are doing their agents a huge disservice. I'm telling you right now, if they do not give you multiple streams of revenue, you need to look at other options. If they are not protecting you, you need to look at other options. If they are not servicing you and giving you the best tools for today's market and social advances, then you need to look at other options. You are cutting yourself short, and you are selling yourself short, and you're settling. And I see a lot of people settling. I know that today we were kind of talking about some things in the sales meeting with Gil. And one of the things he meant to say, and I saw him, that was where Bobby kind of cut him off. And and Gil was like, I don't know what I was about to say. And I turned to Marissa and I was like, I know exactly what he was going to say. And it was basically that. It was that a lot of people are settling, and that right now is the moment to look at a great opportunity, because what he was actually going to say, he had that little graph, if you remember. It was a graph where it was like a shark chasing a fish. And it was that graph that went like this. And what he was going to say was exactly this, that typically when you find a popular trend, it is already too late.
That's a fact.
And what he was trying to say was basically that we all jumped on board. We all are with our brokerage and our company, and we're very lucky and fortunate to be a part of it, but it's now catching on, right? Yeah. And that's the same thing with consumers in real estate. You guys are at an epic moment when the rest of the world kind of catches up and wakes up and says, I have to own property, or I need to get rental investments. Too late. It's going to be overpriced. And right now is the time for agents to be looking at other brokerages, and for clients to be looking at the opportunity to become homeowners and put that equity in their pocket. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to rent. Grant Cardone said this. I'm like, well, Grant Cardone has investments in real estate. It's just commercial. Yeah. And everyone's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I love Grant Cardone too, but in some topics, he's kind of a hypocrite. That's why he falters through his words. But that's only that one topic. Grant Cardone is a fantastic human being, and he's got a lot to give to this planet. But the biggest thing is, if you're a renter right now, you are paying somebody else's mortgage. It's just not yours. So where do you want to really be? Yeah, that's what creates generational wealth, I'll tell you. Well, Diante, man, it was a pleasure having you on the show. We're going to do this again because I love your personality. I love your vibe, your whole sense of being, man. You're a fantastic human to be around. So well, thanks for being on the show, man. And for those of you watching, catch us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. I promise I won't skip out like the last few weeks. And to make up for it, we're actually going to do another one this week with Morgan Keene. She's actually going to be my permanent co-host coming up, and we'll talk about that in the future. But Morgan and I will hop on our show this week. And thanks to everybody who checked in, everybody from Kevin to Michelle to Chris to Sekou to Jose, everybody, Javier, everybody that's watching. Thank you for always supporting the show, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Appreciate you, Dan.